And that way I have, the pencil is deposited on the other side, you understand? So all I have to do is to turn it the other way, and I'll show you that in a minute because I know I'm getting lead on this side, and I'll turn the bird the other way, and I will be able to deposit that. Okay, can you see that bird or not? Probably not. Take my word for it, there's a bird there. Now I'm going to do another bird, and all I have to do to get a different looking bird is turn it the other way. It's so cool. It's easy. So I'm going to put this way, and this is the way that I like to do it because I know I'm going to be able to erase this later. And all I do is trace along these same lines. Because I have that lead on the other side, I am pushing that lead down so that is on the paper. So it works really well. As long as you follow the line, it works good. I've got 3 different birds done. I like to position, like I said, I want one of them positioned so that it's in a good place for the center of interest. Does everybody know the center of interest rule? Mm-hmm. If you divide your paper into thirds this way, okay, and thirds, actually I do it in fourths this way because it's such a long paper, but usually it's thirds and thirds. And where these cross, wherever these cross, it's a good place for a center of interest. Okay, so it'll be this, 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 or this. It's kind of like tic-tac-toe. And it's a good rule to go by. However, it's really fun to break the rules. So you know how to break them. You know, you can put that right in the center, but you have to pull it off. By the way, I'll show you guys. Look at this is the one. Look at the salt. Oh wow. That's what it was. Okay, this is the paper that I use, that I love, and I love big tracing papers. When I do the women's series, I need big papers, and so the next thing you do is we start kind of tying the birds together. And I always want to be thinking about what color is underneath, because if I do that, I'm going to get really pretty clear colors. And that's the number one compliment that anybody can give me about my work, if they say, I love your colors. And that's probably the most thing, that's probably the number one thing that I hear. So this is the clue to that. You want to make sure about what color is underneath, and if you have a color wheel, yellow, red, and blue, and yellow and blue makes green. Remember, this is a participation. Green. Yellow and red makes orange. Red and blue makes
black.
Purple. Okay, so here's the rule. You will have pretty colors as long, anytime you are working with your primary colors, your yellow, red, and blue, you can put any color over that except the opposite, and it will be a pretty color, okay? But if you've got a green down there, the only colors that are safe are the 2 colors on the side of it, and stretching a little bit towards the orange and the violet if I did green. Does everybody understand that? So I kind of think about, when I see a green color, I'm thinking, okay, I can use yellow, I can use blue, I can kind of tend towards the orange, but I'm going to get a dirty green. Sometimes a dirty green is nice, but you kind of want to know that ahead. So I'm thinking that when I'm doing the birds. I've had this brush since 1985. They don't sell it now. It's a Winsor Newton, I think 280, and now it's longer. And so maybe I just worn this one down so much. Maybe it was that long. But anyway, I love this brush. So what I do now is I've got my birds drawn, and I'm going to paint around them. I painted around a couple of them so you'd be able to see them, or partially see them, right? And I'm going to do, I love to have parts where the eye has to complete the painting. So I don't want to paint around the whole thing. So if I go on one side of the bird with blue, then I kind of want to go with blue on the other side, and then I can change. But it's kind of like when you go, if a girl goes behind a tree, don't you expect a girl to come out of the other side of the tree? Hey, not
That's
always.
good. That's good.
But,
Doesn't work in the case of Clark Kent.
so, these days you never know. But I'm going to put, so I've got blue on this side, so I'll put blue on the other side, and this is what's called negative painting. Now, a lot of people are uncomfortable with negative painting. That makes just the term alone makes them really nervous. I always say that all you have to do negative painting is basically what you're doing. You're painting behind something. That's all you're doing. So if you have an object, I put my finger on it, and I'm painting behind that. Now I've got yellow, so I am open. I can use any color except purple. Good. So, by the way, my palette, I have two areolan yellows, because that is the one color that you can kind of contaminate. It's a softer color, and so I have one for mixing greens and one for mixing reds. These are both areolan yellows.
And what's the other one on there?
And this is cadmium yellow, and you know, I never use it. I just don't. You look at it, it's getting all cracked up. I don't know.
Huh.
It's not, I tend to like to use transparent colors as opposed to opaques. Now, the way that I do this negative painting is I put the color down, and then I put my brush through the edge of it, and with a lot of water, and it just fades away. Now, let me show you the wrong way to do it. Let's see, we'll do over here. I don't want to go around the whole thing. I've got an orange here, I'm going over red. Okay, so I've got this. Now, if I would go like this, where I'm pulling this out, that's not going to fade away. All I'm doing is I'm pulling that color out farther. So if I clean my brush, I go on the side of it like this, I am basically creating a waterway an inch wide. So I am making that disappear into that waterway. Does that make sense? So now I can start doing some vertical lines too. I don't want it straight right in the center of the paper, so I'll go over a little bit. That's going to do me a whole lot of good. Do your pencils run away from home? Mine do. They really do.
Do you still have kids at home?
No. No, we're empty nesters and we're loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Why people have a hard time with that.
They don't paint.
You know, and my kids they are good kids. They really gave me no trouble at all, but we taught them to be independent, and they are, and we are, and so I've got an orange, and I thought it'd be fun to put a pretty brown color over the top of that. That'll work, right? The color wheel rule. And now I have drawn a line on the side, and I'm going to fade that out. I love illusionary lines. I'm really into this geometric thing. I don't really know why. I wanted to show you a way that if you can't seem to get this faded out before it dries, here's another way to do it if you're scared of negative painting, is to wet the surface first. I'm gonna go on the other side of the line down here. And I'm gonna wet this with the clean water. Did you notice I have 2 containers with water? That's basically because I'm lazy. One's for dirty water and one's for when I wanna have something like that put down. But see, now I wet that. Now, if I put this color down, and I wanna put it a little bit stronger because it's a little wetter there. And then just tip it. That's another way of getting that to just gradually disappear and look like a negative painting. So that's one way that I do these illusionary lines, where I paint on one side of them and then I switch to the other side. It's a trick of the eye, and it really looks cool. So then I start, if I have a horizontal or a vertical line, then I want to have a horizontal line also, because opposites are good in painting. And I can even do a wide stripe would be good. And that's going to lead you into the center of interest here. By the way, if anybody has trouble with colors, one thing that I do to help me with colors is when I see a scarf that I really like, I buy it, not to wear. I don't like wearing scarves, but I buy it to just I have it close by my table, and that does influence me. And I do grab colors that are in that scarf. So. And you know, see, the people that did those scarves, gosh, they went to college for years and years and years to learn those color combinations. So, you know. Now, I just went around a little line there just for fun. If I like a color, I don't want to cover it completely up. Then I just create a little bar. I was going to come with a stripe here, and then I remembered that I wanted to have that wing kind of disappear, so I decided I'll keep it real light. Any questions yet? No?
How come you made that diagonal instead of horizontal?
Because whenever there's a horizontal, you have to, you mean the angle of it?
Yeah.
I purposely did it where it's not square, because I don't want to have to do that all the way through. You know, so if I start out crooked, then I'm free for the whole time.